Complacency and being comfortable are probably, to me, what I feel are the two worst things anybody could ever feel.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. Tonight, got my man King, PG_Crown_King. I can't tell you how many years I've known King. We met through hooping. King is a really exceptional, multi-talented basketball player, an honest dude, and somebody I always look forward to running into and talking to when I see him. So, my man, King, what's up with you?
Not much, man. Again, pleasure, bro. I appreciate it. Seeing the Nicholsons and Adams of the world and the Chucks on the world. And I'm like, hey, look, man, I need my shot, man. Oh, yeah, you already know.
Yeah, man, you sent me the text. I was like, shoot, man. And I was telling you, it's so many people that I want to interview. And I kind of have a process to figuring out who wants to come on without me spamming people. But then it's people that hit me and be like, yo, why I ain't been on your show? I'm like, I didn't know you wanted to come. I never know who wants to come on and who don't. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Who want free publicity, man? Free recognition. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing to it. It's 2022, right?
Right.
So,
cool. So before we jump into the topics, which from my understanding are your nonprofit, your youth development organization, a little bit of real estate, and anything else you want to talk about, I have a specific question for you.
All right, let's talk.
Are you a different animal and the same beast?
Yo, I wear one hat, man. And I approach life and anything that I do the same way every single time I cut a corner. So to answer your question, I'm the same individual, whether I'm in a relationship, whether I'm on the court, whether I'm handling business. So there's one me. That's why a lot of people don't like it. I tell you, a lot of people don't like it, man. And we'll get into it, a lot of the reasons on why I'm where I'm at today. But I'm a dog, man. I'm different. Tell anybody, I'm different.
Okay, cool. I mean, you always kept it a buck with me. I never felt like King was a fake dude. You know what I'm saying? If I was supposed to knock down that corner jumper, you,
hey, listen.
Hey.
Yo, me and Adam get on the phone after the game. Hey, tell Bradley you can shoot that ball, man. Right.
Yeah. So let's jump into it. Let's start off with the nonprofit.
Okay.
What's up with the nonprofit? What's the name of it? What do you guys do? What's going on with it?
Yeah. So Champion Circle is a youth development organization that I started in 2015. I actually have Metro to thank for that. And I guess we could dig into that a little bit later, but it's a youth development organization. We focus on mentorship, education, and athletics. COVID kind of put a stifle on things, man. I really wanted to expand outside of basketball, but COVID hit, set everybody back about 2 years. So we just trying to ramp things back up on that side. It's expanded since COVID, though. No, before COVID it's expanded, but again, COVID slowed us up to Brooklyn now. So we have a CCB Champion Circle brand in New York, in Brooklyn, in Bed-Stuy. So we trying to just make a difference wherever we can, attacking those markets of kids and youth that are exceptional, but a lot of people don't pay them no mind because of where they are, or they don't have that dollar. So that's the goal. At some point, it's going to turn into a charter school. So that's the objective. Yeah.
So what's the main function? Like, is it hooping or is it something else?
So yeah, man, basketball is how we bring them in. You know, if I sit here and say, look, man, I have a educational organization that makes sure you have a career 3.0, we wouldn't even be standing right now. So yeah, athletics is how we bring them in. And once they get the exposure, they stay. Once they get the tutelage, the knowledge, the intent from the staff, they stay. So then we add certain requirements of GPAs, right? So then we add mentorship. We've done college tours, man. I mean, taking a bunch of kids hike up a 10-mile mountain, man. Just really bringing a bond and growing and developing relationships is key. So yeah, it's yeah, but we really want to focus on just building a better individual. We would love to get the kids from like third to fourth grade and have them run through our system all the way, till they leave high school. I got a lot of connections with guys that seniors and juniors do internships in different cities. So we have a lot that we offer the kids that are willing to accept and buy in. So,
yeah. That's what's up. So let me make sure I understand. Is your nonprofit your youth development organization? That is your
correct.
nonprofit.
That's my nonprofit. Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. I didn't know if you were telling me it was two different things, and I was like, yo, this dude got a lot going on. Like, man,
yeah, nah,
he's saving Gotham City and Metropolis.
That's right. That's the
sack.
dream, man. That's the dream, and to the point, Metro helped me.
Oh, I can't hear you. What happened?
Yeah, my mom was calling me. My bad. Maybe I should have put my phone.
Oh no, it's all good.
Do not
it's all
disturb.
good. Metro helped me.
Yeah, so like Metro helped me expand on my vision, man, expand on my passions. So I started Metro in 2011. After I left school, so I left college in 2009 without no degree, without anything. So I was maybe 3, 4 years, 5 years behind the 8 ball, right? Being 23, 24, 25, whatever it was, and not having a degree or the work experience that others that have, received years prior. So I worked a couple odd jobs, and then my dad finally threw me the oop, and I guess they had an opening with the SBO, and I got in, and it was interesting, man. Like that, to me, what I deemed that military type approach just wasn't for me. It just wasn't for me. So, for years though, Metro provided me, man, a lot of opportunity to get out of debt because, man, with the overtime, I think my first year, I might have cleared like 90,000 at 23, 24, 25. That's good money. Like it was 80, something like that. It was something ridiculous. But again, I'm working 16-hour days. But at that age, you don't even care. So years went on, man. Chelsea, years went on, and I started to find myself getting really complacent and really bored. And I remember one day at Common Turner, man, sitting there at the post, bro, for an hour. I might have dozed off, not even fell asleep, just fell in the daze for an hour and literally counted how many times the light turned green and red. Like I sat there for an hour. I don't know who went by me. Like I don't know what was going on, but I counted the lights, bro, like how many times the light switched. And at that point, man, I realized, yeah, this isn't for me. So I tried to find a way to supplement the money with a passion. So I actually went into IT for a little bit. I did like 3 classes of IT, and I failed every one with like a 54 was my final grade. Then I realized IT not for me either. So after that point, I went back to school for business, and by the grace of God, that's when Metro fired me. So Metro fired me for something off the job, right? So, I was defending what was mine, what my principles were. And I don't know if he still worked there, but I call names, I keep it 100. The nigga Briggs went to Equal Rights, printed off a document off of Facebook, sent it to Equal Rights, and called harassment on me, right? So they did the investigation, man, for like 8 months. I think it was like 8 months. I remember being at I went home to my mother for the weekend, and Geraldo Ellis had called me. And I'm like, yo, what's up, big homie? What's good? He was shop stewards at the time. And he was like, yo, what's wrong with you? I'm like, what are you talking about? What's wrong with me? He was like, yo, like, he basically broke it down to me. This is what he did. They coming for your neck. They want your job, right? So I'm like, what? I'm like, in my mind, right at that age too, I'm like, oh man, my livelihood is done. Like, I've been here 5 years. I'm like, yo, this is about to crush me. So he has said to me, and again, this is a lot of the unknown, all right? So let me back up a little bit. I know a lot of the perception, at least within that department at that time, years prior, about what happened was that I did something that was uncharacteristic of me. And the way I was raised, the way I was taught, man, I don't do much talking. Even though I'm hearing it, I'm not rebuttaling it. If you know me, you know what to believe. So this is why I said at the beginning, I'm about to clear my name. So listen. So he called me and he was like, hey, look, if you want, you can tell him it wasn't you, because it was a Facebook post. So I took another SBO phone, and because what happened prior to that, Briggs was ducking me. Like, I was trying to see him. Like, he and I was going to have a man-to-man, face-to-face. We was going to figure it out. But he kept maneuvering around me. Like, when I used to come on post, he used to call the supervisor and tell him, like, look, I can't relieve him. Somebody else would have to relieve him. So finally, in my mind, I see an opportunity to really start coming for his neck. I make a post on Facebook, and he prints it off. So when Ellis called me, he was like, look, man, it wasn't your profile. He said, hey, look, you could say it was the other guy, and you good.
Mm-hmm.
What about it? I said, that's not me. I said, he got a family just like, that's not my blood. That's not me. I said, look, man, we're going to roll with the punches and see what happens. Supposedly the word is that I dimed son out, but I still got fired. But anyway, so we went through the investigation, man, and I actually just found out like a year ago that he was spreading the rumor that King went into the hearing with them and telling them that, look, man, he did it, I didn't do it. Basically trying to clear my name, trying to get out the fire. Ellis is a fraud. I hope he friends with you on IG. Son, anybody that know Geraldo Ellis, man, he a fraud. That fake Detroit stuff, he a fraud. But anyway, so I ended up going to the meeting, and I told them, like, they brought everything up. Did you say this? I said, yeah. Did you say this? I said, yeah. Like, that was me. So, but, they asked me what happened, and I told them, and, at the end of the day, they said they'll get back to me. I remember getting off at Blade one day. They called me down to the building at 8 o'clock in the morning, told me turn everything in. But the reason why I say it's the greatest thing that they've ever done for me is because it put a fire under me and didn't have me relying on somebody telling me what my qualifications are or what I can't do. Now, if I want to pull up to somebody's house, I don't have to worry about my job firing me. Like, I don't have those issues or those concerns, and nothing's wrong with it. I'm not ever saying that it is. Everybody got to do what they got to do. But me personally, it just wasn't for me. Like, listening to sergeants and lieutenants and captains telling me that I can't do this, or it never just really sat well with me. So, I owe Metro a lot of credit. And essentially, I guess Ellis too, a lot of credit for what they did and didn't do, because it put me in the situation that I'm at today. So, had my hats off to them. He's still a fraud, but I leave that where that is.
Okay, we'll leave that there, but I do have a question based on that. So you had a fire lit under you, but that wasn't a self-created fire per se, right? Like, if that never happened,
damn, where would I be?
If that moment didn't happen, I'm not saying you'd still be there, but it would be easier for you to still be there. So what advice would you give to people who are stuck in that 9-to-5 grind, who want to start their own thing, but they kind of have that fear? So you had to face that fear. Everyone doesn't have to face that fear, right? So what advice do you have for people who want to jump out there and do something like you're doing?
I'm gonna tell you, complacency and being comfortable are probably, to me, what I feel are the two worst things anybody could ever feel. At no point in time at this stage in my life do I ever feel relaxed. And again, some might think, and again, I guess this is how I'm wired. I never feel relaxed. I'm always trying to better up what I did the day before. The advice that I would have, and what also put me at a good stance, is when the number one thing I thought about when they fired me was my mother, like having to tell my mother what happened. When I told her, she was ecstatic. She felt, from issues that was going on with my pop in there and how she felt I was being targeted, she was happy. She and my mother, of course, man, everybody can say about their mom, but just sees great things in me. So she knew that wasn't the end all to me. So to this very day, I be telling people, hey, when they be complaining about their job, I tell them quit. Like, quit. I'm like, that's essentially what happened to me. I didn't quit. I got, like, at the drop of a dime, boom, and I figured it out. A guy on IG, man, posted a video, and he said the people were playing B's. He said, because when you don't have a plan B, you can only focus on plan A, and you have no choice but to see it through. When you have plan Bs and plan Cs, you have outs to those things that give you those reasons to go try something else and something else. And the next thing you know, you're never really truly happy with the situation that you're in. So for me personally, I would just tell people, man, act on that emotion, act on that feeling, if you're not going to believe in anybody, believe in yourself. If you have a passion to do something that you're not doing, go pursue it. Because at the end of the day, it takes nothing to fill out a resume and find another job if it doesn't work. But if you believe in yourself, it's always going to work. So yeah, just jump out there. It's that black and white for me.
I think that is motivational, and I think that it makes sense for some people. I think other people will be like, man, yeah, I'm gonna jump out there, but I'm gonna jump out there while keeping this job.
Right. Yeah. Like, if it don't work, guess what? I got a check coming in. Like, small story. Like, with my business partners now, with my real estate, I tell them all the time, like, when we get at it, like, we need to get at it, because if I don't get at it, I don't have a check coming next week. So I'm figuring out ways for my family to eat based off of what we're doing. So yeah, man, that having that support, meaning of another job, is good. But if you're truly trying to embark on a passion, whether it's entrepreneurship, whether it is working, being a CEO of a corporate 500, whatever the case might be, let that be it and focus on it.
So let me something that I meant to ask you early on, because I want to pin. You got a website for your nonprofit?
Yeah, I got a website for the
Which website? Whatever website you want me to pin in the comments, just let me know.
The best thing to do was probably pin the IG, because I have the link tree, and they click the link tree and they see everything.
Oh, so just your PG?
Yeah, just the IG.
King. Okay, cool.
Once they go to the bio, they'll see the link tree and everything's on there.
Okay, cool. Let me pin that joint. I'll pin it, and then if somebody asks a question or something, I'll unpin it and then try to get it back. So
that works.
Obviously you have a nonprofit, so you take donations. So how can we support, donate to the nonprofit?
Yeah, and again, it's 2022, right? I had a P.O. box. It's probably not even active no more. Like, it's just not the way to kind of do business. So, of course, any one of the financial apps, they can send whatever. We're a 501c3, so you'll get a receipt. You can file it on your taxes the following year as a donation. We're federally known, completely reputable. You can look us up no matter what. So, or if they do want to send a check, like I said, I'll send the home address. Anybody want to pull up, feel welcome. Either way, it really doesn't matter. However they want to find me, I want to be found. So yeah, any one of the apps, again, DM me, and pin my number, whatever. Yeah, whatever.
Okay, cool. So what's the average age of the kids that you work with?
All right, so the last season we had from a third grade team to a third all the way and mix in between. So some were third, some were second, some were fourth. We had 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th. So I've worked with kids in all ages. Currently, so I did a partnership with a really close friend of mine. Shout out to Rick Wright. That's my guy, my brother, my mentor in this whole process when I started in 2015. So we merged organizations. So now we have every age, every single side. There's no gaps. So every age has a team. So yeah, you know what I'm saying? We doing things big here, and we just trying to really make it grow and really help these kids out. Because a lot of people are being in for $1.
Yeah. So, okay. So what is I bring my kid to you, or my kid's on a team. What is your goal for the average kid? And when I say the average kid, I mean, because I know they hooping, and we all wanted to go to the league, so they all want to go to the league. But what is it that what angle are you putting them on for just life in general?
Oh, good question. So again, a lot of times the kids are, let's just say how they are because of a lack of experience, a lack of, let's just say possibly being sheltered, right? whether it's a financial lack of means or just because locally too, a lot of these people, families grew up here from generations and generations. So it's not like they moved here from Cali like 20 years ago and built, you know what I'm saying? So they really don't have any outlets outside of their current location. So we give them the exposures, right? Like I said, we do the college tours. We teach the kids how to fill out FAFSA forms for if they want to go to college, a job application. My son my son who's in 8th grade, his school started a program, or a teacher in the school started a program that every Monday they go and they learn life skills, whether it's financial, whether it's just kind of like verbal, whether it's just opening up and learning and speaking, my hat's off to her. And that's essentially what we do, man. We just try to give them a lot of experiences to widen their horizons, in hopes that, they see it and they see things outside of those 4 barriers that they currently grew up in. And they're like, yo, like, I want to see more. So guess what? If you want to see more, we can provide more, but this is what now I need you to do. I need you to cover that 2.5, not that 2.0. Right? I need you to do these community service hours. When we have events and we did a sickle cell walk last year, and I told the kids, make sure you're there. You don't got to hand out nothing. Just be there to support. Right? It's a sickle cell walk. I'm saying? It's a disease. Everybody's coming. We speaking. We're walking. We're having a good time. So those things then become the requirements, which allows them to say, yo, look, man, I love it. I like it. And the basketball and sports is just icing on the cake, right? You're talking to a guy that played collegiately. You're talking to a guy with NBA connections. You're talking to a guy that's been around. So, of course, the knowledge is there, right? He hoops. So that right there is a given. That's what comes last, right? So that's essentially it.
So it sounds to me like you're building strong, masculine men, right, that are well-developed to help society into the future. My wife wants to know, is it just for boys?
So essentially it used to be, because I'm not even going to lie to you. Like, I used to be like, and again, from coaches that I talk to, you got to deal with the periods. You got to deal with all the emotions. And I didn't know that I would have been right for it, because I felt like I would have coddled them more than I would have been like, hey, look, man, this is how I am with the boys. This is how I need to be with you. Mm-hmm. So for a long time, we laid off for the girls. But since last year, we started a girl brand. And locally, we have girls that train and participate on the team. And I got a couple girls coaches, and we full throttle with the girls. So no gender excluded.
Cool. That's what's up. I have to get Libby down there to mess around with you.
Yeah,
you know let's get
her. She hooping?
Nah, Libby is into any sport that I'm into. So she likes basketball. She likes. I just maybe 2 weeks ago started doing like a shadow boxing workout at home. Okay. So her and my 1-year-old. My 1-year-old has figured out how to punch now. You asking for a kid to be like this.
I remember she used to be right in the car seat, not moving nowhere. Wife used to be recording. Now she punching. That's crazy.
Yeah. So they out of control, but it's all love. You recently. Definitely. Didn't you just have a new
Yes, last year, February 25th, my first girl, yep.
Really? So Libby's birthday is February the 29th. Libby was born on leap year.
So she's 2 years. So she's 2. No, you said she's. So
Libby,
she would be a year. Oh, Libby's your oldest. I'm bugging. So Libby's the oldest.
Libby. So technically, Libby is my middle child. I have an 18-year-old. My Jalen will be 19 next month. Libby is my middle child. Libby was born February the 29th, 2016. So she's a leap year baby. And Finn was born August the 13th of 2020, the pandemic.
Got it. So mine was 2022. Well, 2021. Yeah,
okay.
So it's 2022. So 2021, February 25th. So was that Pisces, right?
Yeah, so she's is she's your only girl?
Yeah, so my girl has a daughter, so Ruby. So those 2, and then the 2 boys that you know primarily.
Okay, so we're gonna take a sidebar from this because you now have a Pisces.
Okay.
And I'm just gonna give you some advice. Do you know how to deal with Pisces?
Nah, see, these signs and all that, son. Like I grew up, and again, maybe you might be able to tell me. I grew up in a family full of Sagittarius. All right. Never truly knew, see, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what that means, right? I just thought my sister was a dickhead. I just thought she just hated my guts. She just, like, couldn't stand me. I just thought my father was crazy hard on me. Like, so I don't know what that means. So then again, everybody keeps saying, oh, you got a Pisces. Like, everybody is all positive about a Pisces. Should I be?
So Pisces are very, very sweet and kind-hearted. They are like ultra sensitive.
Okay.
Okay. And they love to be loved.
Okay.
They're very emotional. So when dealing with them, whether in a relationship or at, a parent-child relationship, I have found it beneficial to not be as blunt or extreme as someone like you or I typically are with other people.
Okay.
You can be direct, but they will teach you how to nuance your tone and your message so that it's not as brash and blunt.
Okay. I don't know if I like the sounds of that, but all right.
It will make you you know how we play ball, right?
All right.
As a coach or as a leader, you know that it's certain things you can say or certain ways you can say certain things to get the productivity out of certain people,
Okay.
right? Some people, if they're 0 for 6, but you need them to keep shooting, you can just tell them, hey, dog, you just might have to go 0 for 10 today, but you're going to have to shoot. I don't care, right?
Okay.
And then others, you may go to them and be like, yo, it's okay. You got to be a little more soft with them. The Pisces,
okay,
you have to find out you're going to put on your white gloves.
All right.
So I just give you that heads up.
Okay. All right, I look forward to it, man. I look forward to it.
Oh, it'll be fun. You'll enjoy it. It's fun. I have a Taurus, I have a Pisces, and I have a Leo.
I hope I don't sound ignorant. Well, I mean, clearly I am because I don't know too much about it.
Mm-hmm.
You know how often you hear Taurus the sign? Like, what is a Taurus? What month is that?
April.
Where? Oh,
I think it's from April 20th. It's like April, the middle of April to Gemini comes in May.
Oh, so before Gemini, okay.
It's right before Gemini, yeah. And Tauruses are very loyal, and but if they can be very vindictive.
Okay.
So once they're mad at you, they can be on get mad. But anyway, that's not what we're here for. So I'm trying to help you out.
I'm trying to learn, man.
Let me ask you this: in terms of the kids that you work with, have you ever had a kid that you was like, yo, like I can't deal with this kid. He gotta go.
Nah, I've never come across. Man, I've had kids tell me that they got girls pregnant. I've had kids asking for condoms. I've had kids. I mean, tell me some of the craziest things, man. I think all of the relationships that I've built with them, I've never seen a kid, or I've never come across a kid that bad off. I'm just like, I can't deal with them. And again, everybody doesn't stay, right? Like if I get you as I've had kids that I had since 5th and 6th grade that ended up leaving me, going to different organizations, and it's fine. Like I support the kids wholeheartedly for whatever decisions they make, but it's definitely a wrong one. And again, anybody can say that. Like I can say that. I mean, anybody, like they feel that way, but I know in everything that I've done and that I do and that I can do, I don't necessarily see a reason to go to another organization that is providing less and doesn't have the reputation that I carry. So, everybody got to find their own way. But now to answer your question, I've never met a kid like that. A lot of my kids, man, we have a great relationship. Text, they come over my house, play with, my kids, So yeah, it's been love ever since.
Okay, well that's good, man. I salute you. Something that I want to ask you based on something you said earlier. You were talking about what you do and how, of course, you reel them in through basketball.
Mm-hmm.
But you said that it's not about the money, right? Now, from being a ball player, I know that you have these organizations and coaches who get these kids who have enough talent to get there, right? Can you kind of explain to me and to the people watching how someone who's in your position but is not as truthful and honest or kind-hearted about the situation use these kids for financial gain?
So somebody called me. Just repeat. So I heard somebody that's not genuine. Repeat that the part before that again. What do you need me to answer?
Yeah, what I'm saying is like you are in a position. So let's say you had a kid and it's obvious or reasonable, like this kid can make it to the league. You know what I'm saying? That can be financially beneficial for you on the back end, right?
Right.
But that's not why you're doing this. However, there are organizations and people who do that. They pull the kid in because they know, like, okay, this is a meal ticket for me. It's like this is my retirement plan.
Right.
I want you to explain to me how that happens. Like, how do these people use certain kids for the payback later on? Do you understand? You understand what I'm saying?
So, all right. So from my experience, from the kids that I've had, some that have left, or just the understanding of how the AAU game works, a lot of those shoe company teams are going to take kids no matter what. Because guess what? They're sponsored by Nike. They're sponsored from Adidas. They're on order house circuits. They get all the gear, and it's free. All right? So what tends to happen is when you're on those major circuits and you're at those live pairs and you're playing on the primary courts where you have the likes of the Mike Krzyzewskis out there looking at you and recruiting you, those guys that are going to come in and try to be your friend and hold on to you are going to be the guys that are those agents or the guys that have paying attention and know that you're in your freshman class 2 years ago, you were ranked number 10, right? So they know and they've been following you even though you don't know they've been watching. What I try to do, and again, it's hard for me to run an organization for free. I wasn't born with a silver spoon. I don't have a lot of money to be able to do that. So what I do is how I tried to separate myself was, let's just say, for instance, we got a tournament in South Carolina. I'll take the kids. Parents, course is mine. I'll rent the van. I'll get the hotel. I'll pay for it. You know, I charged the fee one time per kid of $700, and when I did the numbers per kid for what I offered, I should have charged $1,500. So the access essentially came from me. Now we did some slight fundraising, but fundraising is always optional, right? Like you're gonna fundraise if you want, but it's not a requirement, right? The team fee is the requirement. So you know, and again, when you take these kids, guess what? They break the banister. To the pen. You know what I'm saying? Like they put a hole in the wall. Now my deposit's going, you know what I'm saying? So those type of things people, you know, take for granted and don't really appreciate that I've done. And, you know, I'm going to continue to do it because, again, my benefit at the end of the day is that if I change the kid's life, if one of my kids now is a senior, he playing on our unsigned senior team, but he has 10 letters to Howard, a lot of HBCUs, UVA, Virginia Tech, like, and it's not about basketball. This kid is going to have a bright future. He's going to be extremely successful. And can I say, oh, my program did that? No, not essentially. But this is my benefit. When I'm now talking to a kid, I'm like, yo, I got a kid that went to UVA, that went to Virginia Tech, right? Like, so if we can't do what's necessary to get you a sports scholarship, then definitely being a part of the organization will get you an academic one. You know what I'm saying? So that's a testament, right? So, you know, and if this don't, guess what? I got a 6'8" grader. Hopefully, will pay off for me in the long run, right?
he gonna owe you on the comeback. These other kids, you know, they just need to be successful. He owe you a check.
One of these two, him or the quarterback, man. Y'all doing something, man. So I had y'all young enough where I could retire for real at 45. I'm good, right?
right. Just go lay it down. I can sit on the porch and drink whiskey and be like, that's my boy.
Oh man. So yeah, it's a beautiful process, bro. I can't even front. I love it.
Cool. Let's talk a little real estate, right? So I saw one of your posts. If I got it wrong, you can correct me. It sounded like you have some form of real estate investment going on, and you were being nice to the lady, and she kind of jerked you or something.
What happened?
You posted something. You posted a reel. I think it was a reel, and you were kind of explaining about how you were trying to work with the lady on not being able to pay.
My tenant?
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah. So I do real estate investing. So after the nonprofit, quick backstory. After I got fired in 2016, I started working for, at the time, it was Stone Street, which ended up being bought out by J.G. Wentworth. So a financial firm, really, we primarily annuities, stuff like that. So, because the financial field is my passion. So I got with J.G. Wentworth, worked with them. I honestly applied for the job because, again, this learning curves. I applied for the job because when I got fired from Metro, I never legitimized my organization. So any money that I received, I didn't have, like, I couldn't track it. So when it came time to file taxes, I'm like, okay, this could be really bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I said, all right, let me legitimize my money. Let me get a job, right, and work it that way. So started working for them. And in the course of that time, I bought a crib in Baltimore. So, you know, man, Baltimore is Baltimore. And I was in the blue light district. So it was kind of like, yeah, I don't really want to be here. So I actually lived there on and off for a while, and then did some renovations and started to rent it out. So again, being a new landlord, not really knowing, trying to just get my feet wet into the real estate game, I hired it's funny because I was just talking about this. I looked for property managers, and I had about 4 of them tell me, like, look, man, we're not doing business down there. They wouldn't come and do business where I live. So I finally found a property manager, and she was like, all right, I'll do it. And man, she was a, black sister. She like trying to do it. I'm trying, all right, cool, let's break bread together. So she comes to me with a tenant, and she says, because I was charging $1,200. So she comes to me with a tenant. She's like, yo, my tenant want to pay you $15. So I'm like, hold on, what? Like, she wants to pay me more? She said, yeah. I said, I bet. She said, the only catch is she wants to run an assisted living program out of the house. I don't care, right? Like, and again, to me, all I seen was $1,000 extra a month. My mortgage was $500. So, and again, I paid her. I hired her to take care of my, like, to do right by me. So I'm thinking like, all right, cool, whatever, $1,500, give it to me. So she moved in. First month was cool. Second month was cool. Third month, she was like, look, I'm going to be a little short. I said, all right, cool. I'll work with you. Like, I'm working. This extra money is slight. It's whatever. Man, so you already know what happened. After, she just didn't have it, right? So I'm like, yo, I end up in November, I go to my house to get my mail. And, bro, she opens the door and rats run out. I walk in, I look around. I'm talking about holes and crayons and everything, bro. I'm like, so I walk to her and I'm like, yo, where's the mail at? At this time, because that house was the older house. It was built before 1960, 70, whatever. So I had to do a lead test every year. So I brought the lead lady in. That's why I went down to Baltimore. So she gives me the mail. The lady does the sample. I go to my pocket. How much I owe you? She said, man, don't even worry about it. And she leaves. She was like, look, don't even worry about it. Like, she was like, yo, bro, I feel for you. So as she's getting my mail, yo, her kid brings me a used condom. Literally tries to hand me a used condom. And I kick the kid like, man, you don't get on my face. Hey, son, yo, kick the kid.
Hey, it's never a reason to kick a kid unless he's trying to give you a used condom.
Kick the kid. Boom. Yo, man. So I said to her, like, look, man, you got to get this together, right? So again, lesson learned. So I went to Evictor. Eviction in Maryland is $3,000 off the top. And Maryland is a tenant state. So they favor the tenant. When I read up about the process, if I took her to court, they would just put a lien on her, bro. I wouldn't even get my money. They would put a lien on her every 7 years until she paid so that she can't rent nowhere else. I said, man, go ahead. But every 7 years, I would have to keep refiling, keep doing it. So her lease was actually up in January. So she ended up, I ended up, like, my cousin had, like, read up a little note for me. I texted her, like, look, man, at this point, you need to be out. Luckily for me, she got out because, man, shorty could have been a squatter. Like, it could have cost me a lot more. Now, granted, it cost me 20 racks to get it back on the market. But I ended up getting a tenant that was a blessing, but then I ended up selling it. With COVID and everything the way that it was, being on the market for extra, I ended up selling it last year. So that was part of the start of the journey, man.
So are you looking? Is that something you're looking to continue to get into? Is real estate properties and all of that good stuff, or did that just kind of?
Man, hell yeah! Today we finally got our business funding. So the company's called HCD Investments. So now, I mean, we just about to buy houses everywhere. So all those videos and things that you saw are knowledge and gain that we're trying to kick. But now you're really going to see videos of us really like renovating homes. Like, so we've been doing that interior design and all that. But now they're for properties that you see on HDD TV, right? Like we're going to be really now recording in these homes, doing these, sitting at the counters, doing these offers with wholesalers and all that, right? We got a wholesaler in Richmond that has a property, somebody in Milwaukee that we might buy. So we got Georgia properties, so we're really about to hit the ground running.
That's what's up. One of the questions about real estate that I wanted to ask you, let's say you had somebody who wanted to invest in real estate and they don't really have the upfront money or what we think would be the upfront money. What advice would you give to someone who's like, I want to get into real estate, I got good credit, but I just don't have the capital?
Call me. That's what I'm telling you.
I know, right?
I'll make it happen. The funny thing is, you don't need it, bro. You don't need a crazy reserve in the bank, which again I thought too, which is why I bought in Baltimore. Like, think about it. I think the crib I bought in Baltimore was like $80,000. So I'm thinking because I got a FHA loan that's the first time home buyers, and the house is low, so the EMD is low, and the interest is low, and you know what I'm saying. My property tax is gonna I'm thinking I'm winning, and I use my taxes for it, but I could have kept those taxes, man. And you don't need that capital in the reserve to be able to purchase or be a real estate investor. You don't. We have the steps, and that's again what we selling. We have the steps that can provide you everything you need and keep whatever you have in the bank. And
call
me. You see a pin right there. Call me. I'm telling you, seriously, man. I spend a lot of time, and my partners also spend a lot of time really getting a really vast knowledge about this stuff. My guy Deontay is a killer in the interior design. Kitchens, basements, any type of renovations, he's going to kill it. My guy Chris for the exterior, for roofing and sidings, and I just learned this word soffits and all that stuff that comes with roofs and all that. Like, he's going to lock it down. So I built a team. My girl, we just linked with this girl, Brittany, man. She's phenomenal with the credit. So if you got bad credit, you want business credit, you want to leverage your credit, I got a team that's crazy. You can take care of anybody, bro.
It's tight because you just answered the question that Honey Wordsmith, her name Steph, she asked, what does your credit need to be at? So apparently you're saying it's not so much about your credit. That's something you could work with someone.
Yeah. So, all right. So let's just say for argument's sake, you want to work with a private lender that you want business funding for so again, you would need a business, right? So initially my issue was when I was doing it solely, I didn't know the benefits of starting like an LLC and how to leverage my LLC into business funding, business credit, all of that. So I was really trying to maneuver as just as myself. Once we all teamed up and really started to put pen to paper and throughout the real estate game, we started the LLC. And what we initially were doing was we was doing just some odd jobs to build the bank. Like, man, we'll fix somebody's basement here, do a door here, do some cabinets here, stuff like that. So then a realtor contacted me and inquired if I had business funding. So like, what? Let's talk about the business funding. So then they started to give me the keys to the city. I took it back to my team, and it's smooth.
Okay.
So the credit score. So right, it's just like anything. A private lender wants to know that they can trust you, and if you have if you have 90 days foreclosures, man, repos, like Nobody's going to rock with you at all because they can't trust you. They can't trust that they're going to get their money back. So I wouldn't be so fixated on the credit score, 680, 650. Like, I wouldn't really be fixated on that. The relationship that we have built when people work with us is what we're going to leverage to get them stuff as we work with their personal. So the benefit is, all right, cool. You're going to work with HGD, who's already built and cultivated these relationships. Then we're going to work with you to get to where we are. So that's how we kind of do it. That's why I tell people, don't worry about it.
Okay. My wife said, so are you a hard money lender? She might have deleted. She said, never mind.
She said, never mind, a private lender. No, I'm not a private lender, but we have those. So those are relationships. So she seemed like she hit to the game. So those are the relationships that we have. So i.e. the girl, Brittany, that does the credit is one of our private lenders. So whatever fee that we had to pay, whatever we had to do, she's good with us. So let's just say for you, if you want to work with us, we say, all right, cool, my man Bradley, boom. He will work out with him what we need to do, but we need $700,000 for this house. So she'll give us the $700,000. Me and you will have whatever contract, black and white, we need, whatever percentage we're breaking down, and that's what we would do. In that time, we would say, all right, cool. You have a 520, right? If you want whatever the access funds is and whatever the requirements are, some things are just you need 3 months of bank statements or whatever. We would say, all right, cool. We're going to put you with this person. They're going to help you get that. So in 3 months now, you'll have whatever you need to apply for whatever you need solely if you want to go out and venture on your own. But again, it's all a business. The hope is nobody want to venture on their own. They love what we've done. You're going to keep doing business with us.
Okay.
That's what we hope.
Okay. Woman who invests _ she says, do you work with all markets?
Yes. So we have multiple investors in all regions that if we can't facilitate, they can. Probably next month, we'll be putting out our first real estate course. It'll be a few hours, but we will detail from top to bottom what it takes to be a real estate investor. We will give you all of the verbiage. We will give you all of the key. We'll tell you everything detailed. We'll give you past experiences, current experiences, future experiences. We're going to give you everything in a course for anybody to sit there and purchase and utilize. The good thing about that course is once you review it, there's going to be a test, practice questions in it, and then you get an opportunity to work, let's just say, since I'm on here with me directly. And then at that point, my resources become yours. If you have a house in Nebraska, we'll fly out to Nebraska. My contractor will come out. We'll look at the property. You know what I'm saying? Like, we'll say, all right, cool. X amount of renovations need to be done at this course. The good thing, again, about our private lender is that they finance 100% renovations. So that's already done. Working with us, that's already done. So we'll get that done. Guess what? Boom, we helped you close on your first home. Whatever was in our contract, we'll work that in monthly, quarterly, whatever the case might be. Now, guess what? You making money, and we helped you.
Okay, 2 questions. Yes or no on this one. Do you work with wholesalers?
Yes. So, yeah, we have a wholesaler we're working with. Actually, we just got a contact to one today. So, yes, we do. Okay.
Another question that might be more detailed. Do you form an LLC for each property you buy?
Not each property. They all fall under the LLC of HGD Investments LLC. So, whatever you – so, I think whoever asked that question, there would be a separate – and, again, it could just be worked out in the contract. 9 times out of 10, if you're partnering with somebody and you need 20% or more stake into the game, each transaction would probably be a joint venture LLC if you work with them multiple times. But if I work with you, then I work with Adam, then I work with Mitch, that'll be a separate joint venture for each of you. But if we do business twice, it'll fall under that same joint venture. So if you just want to say, look, I want to work with HGD, then we'll say, hey, cool, HGD would do 100% financing, you do 100% renovations, we split the profit 50-50, and that'll still fall just under HGD, but we would have, in the contract that we would give you the cut that you deserve.
Okay.
That way, yeah.
Cool. Steph said, how much do your courses cost?
So this course is going to be $500. It's going to take, if we sit there and we say, anybody that has a regular life, it's probably going to take you 6 weeks because it's extremely detailed. The market right now for these courses are running thousands and thousands of dollars. And it's not even that. They're not giving you much of anything. When you look at them, and I even tell people this, you'll see the videos when they come out. In my video, I tell people, I say, look, I want you to compare. I want you to purchase, if you purchase this course and you decide to invest or work with somebody else, and you find that their material and their information is more in depth, then I'll cover that course. I do not feel that anybody will get the type of information that you're going to get from our course anywhere else. And it's solely because I feel like once you do, you're going to want to work with us. You're not going to say, all right, cool, they gave me a lot or they gave me a little, right? Like, I'm going to question it. You're going to say, nah, these brothers right here know what they're talking about. And I felt like my 500 was worth it. Brad, I'm telling you, some of them courses cost you like $2,500. Some of these real estate investment guys make you pay a monthly fee of $1,000 and a buy-in of like $12,000. Now, granted, they're billionaires,
right?
You know what I'm saying? But our market isn't billionaires. Our market are people that need help. So I want to build a billionaire. You know what I'm saying? So that's the game. That's the objective.
Okay, cool. We got the questions rolling in. Steph said, does she need to be in the DMV? The answer to that is no, right? Because you said you had something in Wisconsin going on. So the answer to that, Steph, is no. Lil said, what type of investing do you primarily do? Flips, wholesale, buy and hold?
So I started off doing buy and holds. Now that we've achieved the business funding, we're going to do a lot of flips. Like, we're going to move on flips crazy. I tell people, you got to really find out if you're the micro or the macro type of investor. And if you don't know the difference, buy the course. I'll tell you.
Hey, that was a good plug. I like that.
But I'll say it like this. Like, once you figure out which type of investor you are, then you're going to know how to move really. So we're probably going to do some Airbnbs, really get into that. I'm big on purchasing where there are colleges, a lot of stuff like that. So we'll do some buy and holds, but we're going to go heavy to the flip. 2022, my goal is to do 2 major purchases, which is a parking lot. I got a guy that tows. So we've been talking about doing a parking lot, and then I want to do not a commercial property. So those are going to be the 2 buys, the 2 big major transactions we're going to do this year. But we'll still do, like I said, the flips, whatever. We'll still do the interior designs, exteriors, all of that. So 2022 is going to be big for us.
Okay, cool. Another question from Lil. Do you use any creative finance strategies, for example, subject to deals?
No. So now, who is this? Can I see?
That's my wife.
Your wife?
Lil.
All right.
Yeah.
So let me ask her this, and she can kind of. Are you talking about in partnerships or just individually?
Okay, so we'll give her. There's normally a delay in our feed and them getting it and then responding. So we'll give her some time to respond. And what I'll do is I'll ask you for your top 5, and we'll, as Jen Psaki says, we'll circle back around.
Top 5 what?
So I'm gonna explain it to you. See, what happens is a lot of my guests, they watch a little bit of the joint because they live busy lives and stuff like that. They never make it to that hour mark. So when they come on the show, they find out what happens when you've been on.
All right, let's get it.
Okay. So, you have to tell me your top 5 dead or alive, right? That means you have to tell me your top 5 people, real or fictional, dead or alive, that you would like to sit down and have a one-on-one intimate conversation with.
Oh, this is
you don't have to rank them. You don't have to rank them, but you got to try to give me 5. I don't force people hand. If you got 4, that's cool.
You'll get 5. And it's funny, I had a conversation with my cousin a month ago, because there was a post on IG about 4 guys. Which one would you rather sit at the table with and have an hour-long conversation? So the first guy I'm gonna say is Jay-Z, and she was against Jay. She was just like, "Yo, Hov just seems like he's not gonna give you the keys to the city." Like, I think. The reason why. So hold on. I don't necessarily have to explain them all. You just want.
You don't have to. You do not have to explain them all. you are more than welcome to explain whichever ones you want to. If you just want to say, I want to talk to whoever, and that's it, and no explanation, that's cool too. So this your show. I'm just the host.
All right, cool. So Jay, I'm gonna use Jay first because Jay gives off the aura of, and I don't know what aura I give off. I hope people can explain to me, but Jay gives off the aura of, I know. If you want to know, come ask. I don't feel like Jay's going to be the guy that's going to, like Shaq, is going to see you in the grocery store and just pay for something. But I don't think he's the guy that's going to be against giving you information. And a lot of times they just want to know that you're serious about it. And I feel like if I sit down at the table with him and get to dialogue with him, I'm going to be 10 times better. My guy Kobe is number 2. Kobe probably 2, 3, 4, and 5. But Kobe's definitely number 2. MLK number 3, because I seriously just want to know what his mind was let me say it like this. What was the tick that made him talk? What was it that made him want to venture down that path that he went and become such a global icon? Again, I wasn't around that time, but I'm sure when others have attempted and failed drastically, what did he think would have separated him from the rest? The next that I want to talk to is Cat Williams, and the only reason why, listen, man.
Really, that's the whenever someone gives me a first, you know what I'm saying, I always stop. I'm like, yo, that's different, right? I never thought of that. But what's up with Cat Williams?
That's Cat, man, because remember, Cat was that guy, right? And Cat fell off. But all right, so let me put it to you like this. So you have comedians that have certain styles, right? Such as like a guy like D-Ray Davis, Cat Williams, that they're just so blunt. And like if you go to a D-Ray show, I was talking to my guy about it. All D-Ray gonna do is insult you. Like that's just the kind of makeup of his show. But why Cat is so intriguing to me, man, is because I personally feel like, and I'm not gonna use the word lightly, but lack of a better word, like I feel like the brother is like a genius to an extent, just in a form that's just not understandable, right? Like I when I see certain people, I try to break them down. I'm very analytical. I really try to break them down and understand, because when Cat was popping, he was hilarious to me. Like I just thought he was the best comedian out. His fall from grace and then him trying to, get back to it. But I just feel like, man, I honestly just feel like he has so much knowledge. Somebody like Bootsy, right? You think Bootsy's just all comedy, all funny, but I feel like, and he's not my 5th, but I just feel like he's another guy that you kind of just look past because he's funny, because he's hilarious. And you take away from how he got to where he was, and he was on top. He was that guy, right? So clearly he knew what he was doing and how he built his brand and how he built his legacy, whatever it might be now. So when I see all his memes, I'll be like, yo, that's my guy. But so number 5, and I might take people back, but so somebody that's near and dear to me is my mom, right? Like, love her to death. And currently, so I lost my grandmother, who was my everything, right? So that I would want to talk to my grandmother when she was in her 20s, when she was in her 30s, and raising my father and my aunts, and really get to understand her mindset of where she was and how she was able to be so strong and persevere through all of that. How she was so respected in Guyana, how she built her brand and her legacy and her foundation to be able to have us now 2, 3 generations later coveting her like we knew her for 50, 60 years. So that would be my 5th.
Okay,
a younger grandmother. Yeah.
Okay, so we got Hov, we got Kobe, we got MLK, we got Cat Williams, and Grandma in her 20s.
In her 30s, yeah, when she was really raising my father and his sisters.
Okay, cool. I had him as a separate question. Paul said, "What up?"
Oh, what up, boy? What up?
Yeah.
Little Pegasus, man. Where the Pegasus at, man?
Yeah. Whenever I have Kobe fans come on here, or someone who's admirable of Kobe, I like to hear them talk about what he meant to him. But before you do, I always kind of give a quick synopsis of my, relationship with, Kobe. And so I be honest, I
Oh,
never really
stupid,
paid
son.
attention. I
Uh-huh.
never really paid attention to Kobe
Mm.
in a sense of who he was as a person. Like it was blatantly obvious, like he was that dude. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I never really paid attention to him until maybe his last 2 or 3 years when he was in his twilight, right?
Uh-huh.
And that's when I was like, I kind of like Kobe. You know what I'm saying? He's legit. You know what I'm saying? As a person,
Uh-huh.
I began to understand his mentality. And so after he retired, he was one of the very few people. I'm not really into celebrities. I like real people that I can
Mm-hmm.
talk to. He was one of the few people that I was like, I'm definitely looking forward to who and what he becomes. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Just into the future. And then it was just over. And I felt like I told Nick this. I said, I feel like I was robbed of my Kobe Bryant
Right.
experience. Like, nah, like I need that. So
Right.
I really just want to hear you talk about what he means to you and all of that good stuff.
So I'll be the first to say I don't care. I cried when I saw it on the news. I remember, again, I think all this stuff happened at my mom's. I was at my mom's for whatever reason, and I remember looking on the TV, and at the bottom you see, like Kobe passed away. I'm like, man, what? Like, so first thing you do, get on social media. It hasn't really been reported yet. What? So then now you start to get the text of everybody like, yo, you heard Kobe died, you heard Kobe died. And I think they stopped the program, Channel 6 or something, put on the screen, like brought me to tears because for 20 years, between Kobe and Steve Francis, basketball related, I idolized them too. I idolized Kobe and Steve, and to wear back the time to think of the screaming at son, like, because again, their games were always late because they was West Coast. So here on the East Coast, we watching basketball till 12 o'clock, school in the morning. I'm screaming at the TV, so to live all of those things, man, it was devastating. Kobe, and again, I thought this was always in me, but he definitely brought it out when I, just watching him hoop, like the aggressor, the demanding greatness from people was definitely a trait and a quality from him that I embodied, and I didn't feel bad about doing it. I tell people all the time, like I didn't grow up liking Jordan. Patrick Ewing in my house was key. If you didn't like West Jamaican Pat, my father would kick you out. And Jordan kept beating Pat. So I could never like Michael Jordan. It was never a thing in my house. So Patrick Ewing was my guy, the Knicks growing up. So then when Kobe came, and again, grew older, started to find my own way, he was what it was. So Kobe was, son, in basketball terms, was everything. I mean, everything. There's no other words that I can express it. And like even my youngest son, he in football he wears number 8. Anytime he shoots a paper basketball, Kobe, like
Mm-hmm.
that's been my household, bro. Like anybody knows, we didn't buy no LeBrons. When LeBron out here dancing in the warm up lines, I'm telling my kid, like, man, look, we don't do that. Right? We about business. When it's game time, we about business. So, he was everything for me come basketball, bro. Like, it was. You can't tell me nothing.
Mm. So yes or no, is he the GOAT?
So I think statistically, the GOAT is Kareem.
Mm-hmm.
I just had this argument. So, I got my own podcast, Build Different. Shout out. If you don't know about it, go listen. We had this conversation back to back to back to back. I actually debated one of my close friends in it. Then we had Ryan Hollins on it. I debated him. And then we had Coach JB that was just on there earlier this week. And the guy from Last Chance U. And he came on and he deemed Kobe the GOAT, right? And I've never heard, outside of Nick and I've never heard anybody else really speak up highly of Kobe like that as he did. So Kobe's definitely my GOAT. If I have to have a debate, Kareem is the GOAT, right? Just but because everybody all about stats, but Kobe's definitely my GOAT.
Okay, cool. So we got the Kobe talk. We got the top 5. We can circle back around. My wife said she's talking about both partnerships and individual. I'm just assuming you all target off-market deals. So other than just private lenders, I'm just wondering what other creative financing strategies you may use.
So with the off-market deals, so what initially hindered us, well, me and us initially, was not having the capital to make moves in anything we do. So it really was really strategic and thought out, right? So we would get a real estate agent and, they would say, all right, this is what we have in the MLS. If you want it, if it's for your business, you got to put 20% down instead of a 3.5 or 10%, whatever it might be. So then it just became real unnecessary to go that route. When we came across the private lending for business related, it's the best thing that we could do. On top of having the broker that has the wholesale deals, the wholesalers in place, right? When we do a residential property, right? All we have to do is say, hey, look, man, like we need X amount of money. There is no gray to this. We need $300,000 because we built a relationship. They give us $300,000. We close on the house. Point blank. Period. Strategies. I say to highlight that word specifically. A lot of people in this industry, I feel, are going to give you fluff. They're going to give you a lot of fluff to make it sound good. I don't have any strategy. I know a guy that uses a formula. Like, I don't have any strategy to how.
You back.
Okay. I just know how to get it done. In working with us, you will learn how to get it done. I can devise formulas and strategies that help people out, but I just want people to work with me because of me. And that's, basically what it is.
Cool. So I picked your brain for an hour and close to 15 minutes. I give all my guests an opportunity to ask me a question or to press me out about something. So if you have a question for me, this is your moment. If not, this is where we sign off.
Well, let me ask you this. Have you hooped since the league? But that's not my question, though. But I definitely want.
I think the answer is no. You didn't play when the league came back for that one game. We was in the DC league.
Right, after he broke the rim, you talking about then?
No, I'm talking about after. I think this was after COVID hit, and they picked it back up a little bit later. No. We played in one game, and we lost that joint. Other than that, I don't think I've hooped since then. And the only reason really is because they go hoop on Wednesdays, and I work overnights. And
he said it was after COVID. Mitch said it was after COVID.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was after COVID. It was after COVID hit, but that was the only game that I played in since they ended, since COVID hit. You see what I'm saying? Since then, I don't think I've hooped at all in this.
Butler, what up, man? What up, Butler?
I'm not staying up all night doing all of this police work. You know what I'm saying? Right. And then turning around and staying up all day hooping, and I just don't have that in me anymore. So
got it.
But if you only got 4 people for a game, and you need a guy who play real hard, got slow feet, but a knock a shot down from the corner when you need it, just give me a call. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so my question, and I think probably some people have already probably asked you this: what was the foundation behind starting your podcast?
So it's a bit of it has multiple layers to it. I think the seed was initially sown when I was on the real. Mm-hmm. To be flown out to Hollywood and do something that I had never seen done before, right? I'm not famous way less than famous. But to be able to go out to Hollywood, spit a verse on national TV in a police uniform, which is some shit you've never seen in an official capacity, right? And get flowers for it. Like, nobody clown me for it, and be interviewed. I was like, yo, it's kind of tight that these people are interested in what I have going on. So that was the first seed. And then as I progressed through life after that, I wanted to become a better communicator, right? I wanted to be a better listener. I wanted to be able to have someone say something to me that I disagree with and not get triggered by it and stuff like that. And so through working on improving my communication skills and realizing and watching other social media personalities and YouTubers and stuff like that talk to people, but not give them the space to say what it is they have to say. You know what I'm saying? I was like, you know what? I'm going to start going on IG Live, and I'm going to start letting people talk. And I don't just have to ask the questions. I can push back. I can disagree and stuff like that. But I'm not bringing you on here to prove to you that my viewpoint is more right or better than yours. I'm genuinely interested in what people have to say. And the easiest way to do that was to jump on IG Live and be like, yo, what topic you want to talk about? So at first I had to find people. Now people hit me up and they like, yo, I want to come on your show. I'm like, yo, you're more than welcome. Pick a Thursday or Friday. If I ain't got nobody booked, it's yours. What you want to talk about? And I'm going to say, I'm going to ask you a question and you're going to go.
Right.
And now in the future, I look at it like this. I interview a lot of people who are not wealthy, not famous, but you never know who I never really know who I'm talking to. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking to you now. You a year from now could be somebody that everybody really wants to talk to.
Right.
That's just beneficial for me because I'll be like, well, I talked to him a year ago.
Right.
You know
Right. For years, right?
I've been there.
Right. Like, yeah.
You know. And I think that we live in a society where we champion famous people and wealthy people, and I think everybody has a really dope, legit story to tell. So I'm just the guy who's like, yo, if don't nobody want to hear your story,
I'll listen.
To me. I'll listen to it.
Nah, you good people, bro. You know, definitely. I remember those talks, man. Me, you, and Nick arguing about CC. Why is he still on the team? So, you know what I'm saying? Like, so yeah. Like,
I gotta get him on here too.
Stop asking me that, Mitch. What are you like, son? Like, stop asking me that.
You a Lakers fan? You don't want to talk about the Lakers?
Yeah, like, stop asking me that. Right?
Real quick.
Nah, real quick, nothing. Nah.
No, real quick. How did you feel about the Lakers winning the chip with LeBron?
I hated it. I'm not gonna lie, I hated it. Bron doesn't embody Lakers standards to me personally, but that's a different conversation for a different day, man. And Mitch, you annoy him, man.
Hey, look, man, you gotta hit me up. Let me know when I can come on the podcast. I appreciate you. I love you, my brother. I'm looking forward to working with you in the future. Me and my wife discuss real estate all the time, right. So that's something we could get into. And let me know when I could come work on my jumper down at the spot so I could at least stay ready in the corner for you.
Definitely, man. Again, and you and Nick have always been stand-up guys, man, coming down, doing a little police joint during a difficult time for our people, man. I wholeheartedly appreciate that. Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Of course, man, I'm going to text you. And again, ask you your dates. We typically record on Wednesdays. Mm-hmm. Nothing to have you on, bro. Like, nothing at all. Quick plug. My son started their own clothing line, Clutch Kings. They have a page, Clutch Kings 24/7. That's on IG. They do youth apparel. They also do adult stuff. As I said before, my podcast, Build Different Podcast, we record every Wednesday, release on Friday. I think episode 20 just released today. So check it out. Again, HGD Investments, LLC is my real estate and my nonprofit, Champion Circle, in Champion Circle, New York, man. We here. I appreciate it again, bro.
My man, we'll talk. Be good, bro.
All right, man. Love.
Peace.